So one of the things I was thinking about is what to do about the ongoing strike at the of the academic staff union of universities in Nigeria that just keeps going on and on and on. One of the problems that I see with that is I'm wondering if the I mean, somehow there's a breakdown here. Somehow there's just a lack of communication that's coming to an agreement. There's a lack of they're just not moving along. They're trying to talk, they're trying to do this, they're trying to do that. But for some reason, for some reason, they are not arriving at a conclusion. They're not making a definitive, accomplishing a definitive program and a definitive um practicable plan that they're just going to do. It seems like there's just headlock. And it just seems that I'm wondering where the states are, how are the states, how is the state level, the different states involved, how is that in at what level are they involved in the situation? Are they um that might be able to help because in a lot of contexts, in a lot of other contexts, the state universities, states are the one involved in the funding, in the in the deciding how much the staff gets paid, and in the deciding just all those things. And they can be they're sometimes done at the state level in some instances, and I'm wondering if Nigeria could benefit from that, because I'm wondering if the way we're doing it right now, I mean, we just get to the point of trying to negotiate these agreements and they just stay at a deadlock for months and months and months, and it ends up taking years, 7 years for people to complete 4-year programs and things, just because of strikes, and sort of a deadlock that they know that they couldn't come up with an agreement. So I'm wondering if making those decisions at the state, that some of them at the state level would benefit, and would make it easier, and maybe transferring some of the tasks of funding. Maybe the federal level can support the state funding, but that somehow some of that burden needs to move. It needs to shift somehow, so that then if you have some agreement here, then these universities of this or this can move forward. And then if you have some agreement, then that can move forward. And then it doesn't create a situation where everybody and everything is just at a standstill. And there's other than the private ones, none of the public ones are doing anything. Maybe it doesn't have to be that way. There has to be a way of sort of redesigning. So when you have the same problem over and over and over again like that, the problem is not just the agreement. So you want to say, oh well, the problem is that the staff union this, and then the Department of Education, they can't agree. Well, if you have the same problem all the time, then the problem isn't just the problem. It you know shouldn't be looked at as just that decision alone, but it's also the way that that decision is being made. So I would be interested in, it would be useful, I think, to kind of to 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 change the way that is being done, so that not all those decisions are not being made at that level only. They're kind of being made at at another level. To some of the decisions are, because like I said, in some instances, in a lot of other contexts, decisions about a lot of those things are done at the state level, and in a lot of the other instances. So we don't have to necessarily do that, um but looking into that and trying to move around some of that, it would be helpful, because it wouldn't keep things at it. I mean, it's just it doesn't really change the way it is right now. It seems just like things just are at how many strikes are they going to have? How many? It's Yeah, it doesn't change. So I would be interested in what could be done in terms of just the decision making, the levels at which the decision making is made that says, okay, so that way you can have something moving forward. That way some of the universities and some of the states can be running while there's negotiation going on here, maybe, or so that way something is moving along. It's kind of horrible that no public universities are in session for several months. That's completely that's terrible. um and and then that's like a recurring problem. That's terrible. It makes it really unreliable. And these kind of institutions, they need to be, they need to be more reliable than that. So um that's my thought on that that we need to change some of that toward making the states get involved in the decision making and in deciding and in negotiating and in some of the accountability for how those things need to go. They need to move from the level they're at, because um it doesn't move the way it is. It just doesn't change. Everything just stays deadlocked for a long time, and someone says, oh, we're talking to them, and then the other person says, oh, we haven't heard from it. It just seems impossible the way it is. It seems like um impossible to just keep it the way to move forward the way it is. It seems like it's yeah, there has to be an evaluation of not just the issue of the contract itself, but an evaluation of the way that the issue is tackled just altogether, the way with the management of it altogether, so that it's not this ridiculous big thing that nobody knows what to do about. That's what it seems about like right now. It seems as if everyone interviewed, they act like it's just this big blob for problem, and it doesn't need to be. I think that some of that is not just the issue of the contract itself, the agreement itself, but on the issue of like the management of the agreement and how you've set that up to be decided. I think um that needs to create there needs to be more movement that's possible without everything being agreed upon, with everybody agreeing. Um there just things need to move before, even before that all happens. So I'm looking forward to seeing things more, in that vein.